I'm finna show you how to hit the Kwon.
Cryptoslo, cryptocurrency news and investing.
Cryptoslo with more crypto gains. What's going on, guys? Hot one for you today. And a really good lesson in tokenomics. And that is the UST stablecoin losing the dollar link, losing the peg. So algorithmic stablecoins have been in the news a lot lately. And basically, this guy, Kwon, had purchased a bunch of Bitcoin to add to the Treasury to back his UST, right? Well, here's the problem with that. In the same sentence, this basically put out the bat signal to people, hey, let's short this, let's attack this. So, in essence, Terra and UST was attacked. Now, it's not a flash loan in the terms of normal crypto of what you think of flash loan, but in essence, it really was a flash loan. It was no difference. People hedged bets, borrowed a bunch of money, crashed the backing asset, shorted, and just basically tried to manipulate this to crash. And as a result, Kwon ended up selling all of his Bitcoin that he just bought like a week or two ago at a severe loss. Now, what are some lessons that we can learn from this? Well, the peg is back to about 90 cents. But let's think about this. The peg went down to about 65 cents. And then they started replenishing funds. Okay. Now, the problem with this was a couple things. Number one, this was an attack. This was an attack by people that thought they could manipulate the prices. Number one. Number two, the problem with deploying all the capital. So in essence, he's defending. Basically, he deployed his entire treasury in a single shot. Now, why is this bad? I think there's a huge lesson from this. Well, number one, you had a bunch of arbitrageurs that bought UST down here, okay? And what are they going to do? They're just simply going to sell when it goes back here, okay? So you took a loss on the Bitcoin because you paid a higher price, and then you liquidated it. And in this moment, before the liquidation, you had people buy down here and sell here and basically make 30% on their money. So basically, all that capital that was deployed was just simply scalped out of the system. This is some really good theory and thought process in DeFi, because there's a lot of projects out there that are like, hey, we're having buybacks, we're doing this, we're doing that, right? Well, the problem with making such announcements is typically people always sell into buybacks. They always sell into liquidity being added, especially if the liquidity is added too fast. So, what's my takeaway from this? My takeaway from this is Kwon shouldn't have deployed his entire treasury in a single shot, because then he allowed the treasury to be instantly drained instead of deploying it strategically through governance, okay, and letting market action happen. So basically, this occurred, the deployment of the capital was too fast, number one, and number two, it was too much, okay? And when you deploy a lot of capital fast in a short period of time, it simply gives arbitrageurs the chance to scalp mad dollars. So this was a complete mess. In my opinion, the funds should have been deployed more strategically, number one, and over a longer period of time, and allowed market action to kind of work its way into the system, okay, so that it can naturally recover. Because obviously the majority of the people in the system want it to do well. And then, from the whole concept of the peg, ultimately it's still it's still paying yield even at the depressed price. And I just don't think when I zoom back on this that it was a good idea. So how do I think this plays into elephant money? Well, elephant money was attacked, okay? There was a flash loan, and there was choices to be made. Deploy all the capital to try to get the peg back as fast as possible, or strategically let some market action happen, let the system heal, and try to regain itself. So this is being done through these governance strategies. Okay, so like right now you can see there's 6K in the elephant buyback strategy. So when this button's pushed, it uses some of the treasury, it buys it back. The rewards, the trunk peg strategy helps the peg get back. So basically the takeaway from you take from this video is, if something goes out of whack for whatever reason, it's attacked. Doesn't matter how it's attacked. A huge whale sells, whales sell. There's a flash loan. There's a manipulation. There's a shorting. You want the system. You want to allow the system, if the tokenomics are sound, to heal itself. Okay, and you want to strategically use those governance and treasury funds to help the system get back to where it wants to be. In the case of elephant.money, the best thing you can do is mint more trunk and put it in Stampede, because then that's activating these governance strategies. Now, you can buy it off Pancake at a discount. That's one option. Or you can, like I said, mint. And people are like, well, why would I do that? I'm not telling you to go ape, okay? Because when you mint this, technically it's at a little loss, okay? But you are earning rewards on it, so that kind of heals itself. So, throwing a little dry powder at the minter is a way to help the system and help it heal and get back to peg. Now, with the new system, when you mint trunk, you actually have to hit the claim button. So your trunk will pop up over here after 3 blocks, and this is the block protection we were talking about. And then you can claim it, and then you can put it in Stampede. But the same thing as always, do a Control F5, refresh your page, and make sure your BUSD is enabled, and then you can actually mint. So that's all there is to it. Like I said, I think this whole Kwon thing is a really interesting thought experiment, and it also shows that even though UST was huge, that it can still be attacked. But again, I think the big problem was not necessarily the attack, but per se it was the fact of how he deployed the treasury to help the system. I think he should have done it through governance and basically, let some market action happen. And I think, at the end of the day, now he has no treasury. So that's actually a worse condition than being out of peg, in my opinion. But hope you liked today's video. Like, subscribe, and as always, this is Cryptoslo. If you're not talking gains, then we're not talking.